Hello guys, we're now looking at Mage, in particular Fire Mage tonight. Done the Warlock videos for you on the specs. We're now looking at BFA Mage, so not many changes to be honest. Again, as I've emphasised in all my videos, that BFA won't be groundbreaking for class change, because they did pretty well in Legion. There were a couple of clunky specs and classes which they're just fine-tuned now, so you're going to see a lot of familiar stuff. For example, Phoenix Flames is now a talent, which at the moment is currently the artifact weapon ability for Fire Mages, so that's still in there, which in my opinion is probably the best talent on that tier actually. We'll get into that in a second. So first tier is the same as live. Fire Starter, doing pretty much a guaranteed crit. Well, it is a guaranteed crit above 90% health. So Pyromaniac, again, when casting with Hot Streak, has an 8% chance to instantly reactivate it, so that's the same as live. Searing Touch, I believe it's different now though, I believe that's new. Scorch does 150% increased damage and is a guaranteed critical strike when targets below 30%. So I'm more of a PvPer than a PvEer. For me, that's the better tier there, because it just means that you've got that additional damage on the go. If you've got a healer who's low health and you need to execute him and he's going around a pillar, you can chase him around that pillar, and you can just keep casting Scorch at him and then getting those Hot Streak procs just to kind of really throw those Pyroblasts in and finish him off. That being said, now the next tier, Blazing Soul, that's new. When you cast Blink, it ignites a Blazing Barrier around you. So Blazing Barrier is the same as live at the moment. It's basically Fire Mage's Ice Barrier. However, when you take this talent, if it runs out, for example, you just blink and it reapplies. I think that's quite nice. I like that kind of play. It's just interesting. It's trying to pull people away from Shimmer, which a lot of people take, because it's just easier to cast a polymorph and then immediately Shimmer away to get the polymorph off. The other thing as well is Shimmer can be castable while casting other things, so you're in the middle of a fireball here and you just get near it. Oh, I just dropped an achievement. Anyway, so for me, Shimmer's still better, but Blast Wave now, again, I don't know. Pretty sure it doesn't have the knockback on live, but it's gone back to having the knockback if it doesn't already. So I apologise there, but Blast Wave, cause an explosion around yourself, so it's no longer targetable on somebody. Works very much the way Frost Nova works. It's AoE around you, knocks people back, reduces their movement speed by 70%. So it's quite a nice defensive now. It's not laughable. It's okay. However, those two for me are just really good talents. Shimmer will probably still be the main pick because of the utility it brings. However, of course, if you have Shimmer, it doesn't remove stuns, so it depends how much people are dying from stun locks, especially mages who are squishy anyway. Right, so third tier, exactly the same picks. Counters Flow hasn't changed. Mirror Images hasn't changed. Rune of Power hasn't changed. So we'll move on. 60 pick is Flame On, same as live, reduces the cooldown and gives another charge to Fire Blast, exactly the same as live. Alex Trials' Fury is exactly the same as live, makes Dragon's Breath critically hit and contributes to Hot Streak. So yeah, they're okay. Phoenix Flames though, everyone's used to them. Anyone who plays Fire Mage and Legion obviously has that in their rotation, obviously, because it's their artifact weapon ability. So Phoenix Flames are very important if you're used to that build, and there you go. So that's what I would suggest taking. Your tier list on the 75 tier is Frenetic Speed. So again, if you're PvPing and you're taking the Searing Touch build, then you want to be able to keep that movement speed going. But there are good talents here as well. Ice Warding, same as live again, and Ring of Frost, same as live. So those two are really good picks. Frenetic Speed is interesting though. I mean, you never used to take it because Scorch was so weak. Now it's pretty okay. It's not amazing, but it's better than it was. So you might take Frenetic Speed now with the Searing Touch build. You've got on your tier 90 talent, you've got Flame Patch, same as live. Unstable Magic, again same as live, and Living Bomb, again same as live. So no major changes there. I think again tooltips will change, but at the moment it's 40% additional damage on Unstable Magic, where I think at the moment live it's 50%. So I'm a stickler for these things. Anyway, moving on to the last tier, Kindling, basically the same as live, but now incorporates Phoenix Flames to reduce the cooldown of your combustion. Pyroclasm, again consuming that hot streak gives you a chance to do a main cast Pyroblast. There's a 300% additional charge damage, maximum 2 charges, and then Meteor, which for me will always be the, I would say the go-to, but Kindling is nice because you always got combustion up in that case. So those are really nice. In terms of animations, not much has changed. In fact, I don't think anything has changed, to be fair. You've got your Fire Blast, pretty much the same animation. Fire Blast is pretty juicy as well. Phoenix Flame is exactly the same as live. Fire Blast is a big old white hot meteor. I must admit, I do like that. You come from playing this to destruction. Me and my brother used to have this conversation all the time about, what when I played destruction lock and he played Fire Mage. He said that he felt I was more of a Fire Mage because he quite he liked me, he liked his immersion and his lore and everything else. And he said you feel more like a Fire Mage, and I said no, because mages, when it comes to fire, are more clean, controlled, more surgical, so to speak, whereas the Warlock's chaotic. So while yes, the Warlock has all this chaotic fire going on, Fire Mage will never miss. In the lore. So I do like the Pyroblast though. It's almost like white yellow. It's very very obviously like kind of denoting very hot. They haven't changed Dragon's Breath yet. I've never liked this animation, to be honest. It's a really old style ability which could do with some love, but we'll see what they do. The other interesting change to mages, which you may or may not know, is that Arcane Intellect's back as a group-wide buff. Just show you the flame strike change, if there is one. No, it's pretty much the same. So yeah, you've got Arcane Intellect here now, which is quite nice. Infuses the target with brilliance, increasing their intellect by 10% for 1 hour. If the target's in your party raid, all party and raid members will receive it. So it's basically going back to, Blizzard, they do like to change their mentality on certain things, don't they? The whole thing was bring the player, not the class, which was under, I think Ghostcrawler's rule. And it's slowly reverting back. They're saying, well, we want classes to feel that individual. I get what they're saying. I was all against homogenization. I didn't like the fact that if I played a character, it felt exactly like a different a different character, like a Ret Paladin felt like a Frost DK, or everything was homogenized. Paladins, I remember the patch with Wrath, and you'll remember as well that when Paladins came out, Ret Paladins changes came out in Wrath, they had everything. Literally, they could do everything a warrior could do. They could do everything a Death Knight could do. They could do everything to a point. I know I'm exaggerating a bit here, but homogenization I've never really enjoyed. I like the idea that if I pick a class, that's like one of my first characters was Druid, and I enjoyed the Jack of all trades, Master of none. I like the fact that if I needed to, I could go behind a pillar as Feral and pop Tranquility and top my teammates. I like the fact that I could, do a bit of healing, do a bit of tanking, do a bit of DPS without having to change much. But then of course dual spec came out and everything else came out. Homogenization was massive, and eventually it was hard to just differentiate the classes. So it's nice to see that kind of putting them back into a little bit of a niche role. Again, you bring a mage because they bring Arcane Intellect. That's to me that's pretty huge. Of course they're still bringing Time Warp and things like that, but I like the fact that they're giving buffs again to raid members, because it just means that there's that requirement if need be. There's a reason to bring a mage. There's a reason anyway to bring a mage to a raid. It does ridiculous damage, but from PvP's point of view, you can have a mage and you could be buffing the intellect of your healer, whereas a healer on a non-mage team has got that 10% whatever I'm working for. I don't think you know what I'm saying anyway. Yeah, so your mage on your team will give your healer 10%, whereas on their team they won't have 10%, so there's an advantage there. Disadvantage, that's what I'm looking for. Anyways, that was mage. I will be going into the Frost and Arcane build. Overall, hasn't really changed much. Still fun to play. Lots of crits. Very crit heavy. Interesting changes. They're mainly just fine tuning though, which is nice because obviously they're happy with the build. They're happy with the classes they currently are. There's not many groundbreaking changes, so if you like Fire now, you'll enjoy Fire and BFA, and it will just be a case of enjoy the new content. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, any criticisms, any tips you got for me, please let me know. I am an amateur at this, but I just wanted to bring my take on the new changes in BFA. If you did like the video though, leave a subscription, subscribe and hit the like box, and I'll see you again soon for the next spec of Mage. Cheers.